So even without a prepared statement, she reminded me that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be heard. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 120 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Have you ever walked into a courtroom and felt like you didn't matter? Like the system was more concerned about the defendant's rights than your pain? Well, today I'm breaking down how to make a powerful victim impact statement even when you aren't prepared. If you've ever felt silenced, ignored, or overwhelmed by the system, this episode's for you. But before we dive in, let's self-regulate with a 4-4-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. And I invite you to ground yourself in the moment, shift a little in your seat, maybe press your feet in the floor if that's available to you. And we'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How does it feel to be in the moment? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in.
Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you.
This week, I attended a probation violation hearing for a defendant in a teen violence case. And when I got to the courtroom, I met up with the mother of one of the victims. And we went in together and sat in the back of the room. And she wanted to speak, but wasn't initially given the chance to. You see, when we got in there, they called the defendant's case first, and he wasn't there. His appearance had been waived. And the public defender brought that up to the judge, and they quickly discussed some matters pertaining to his case and kind of rolled everything forward to a hearing that he has to show up for next week for reoffending. And they were going to make decisions about all of these other matters, release conditions, things like that, all next week, along with hearing this other case. And it just seemed like all these moving parts in the system were just focused on the defendant and him not having to show up, and the judge and attorneys and the process just moving on, just boom, boom, boom. They went through the motions, checked the boxes, made some decisions, and then on to the next. And it was so fast. The mom and I were looking at each other like, what's going on? Wait a minute, is it over? What happened? Before we knew it, there was another defendant that came in to have his case heard, and then another, and we were about 4 or 5 defendants deep, and they just kind of blasted past this thing. And she tried to raise her hand and let them know, hey, I want to say something. And I don't think they were really clear on who she was, why she was there. They were so busy that she kind of got lost in the sauce. And I looked at her and I was like, well, do you have anything prepared to say? And she's like, not really, but I really feel like I need to speak up because this keeps happening and I'm kind of over it. And so I encouraged her to stand firm and to speak up and flag down the attorney or somebody and let them know that she wanted to say something. And it took a while, but she persisted and she spoke anyway. In fact, both of the attorneys came over and talked to her, and they made the decision to advocate for her right to be heard. So they decided to recall the case and put it back before the judge so that she could come and make an impact statement. The judge had to acknowledge her voice and her right to be heard. Initially, he kind of balked at it and was like, well, we're going to deal with all that. It's going to go before another judge next week. And so we're just going to roll everything that we were going to talk about today into next week. And the attorneys really pushed and were like, well, she has the right to be heard. And so the judge yielded to that and let her make a statement. And so I told her, I said, you've got this. I encouraged her and just reminded her about the power of focusing on the facts as opposed to feelings, and encouraged her to just stand firmly in her truth. And so she went up and she did. And watching her stand her ground, I mean, she just chronicled the whole experience and did a fantastic job. It was very powerful because the judge that was hearing the case was the same judge who had given this defendant chances before. And here we were again, he had reoffended. And not only that, but escalated. So even without a prepared statement, she reminded me that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be heard. Here are 5 keys to making a victim impact statement in court, even when you're not prepared with one. Number 1, speak up even when you weren't called on. Raise your hand. Ask to be heard. Courtrooms, I'm learning, are fast-paced, and victims often get sidelined and swept up in the swirl and sometimes just forgotten about. And you have the right to speak, so use it. Number 2, state the facts, not just feelings. Judges respond to facts over emotions. What happened? What did the defendant do? What was the impact on your life? And keep it clear, direct, and undeniable. Number 3, call out the pattern, not just the incident. If the defendant has escalated in their behavior, say so. Point it out. If they've been given multiple chances, highlight that. Patterns matter, and they do hold weight when it comes time for sentencing. Number 4, end with a strong ask. What do you want the court to do? More jail time? Stricter conditions? Say it boldly without apology. Number 5, know that your words have power, even if you don't see it right away. Judges, attorneys, other victims, even other defendants that may be lingering in the courtroom or processing their paperwork before they exit, hear you. And you never know who you're empowering or whose life you're impacting, maybe even for the better, by speaking up. You could be the one that shares something that helps a defendant in a completely different case to make a better choice. Or a judge who's maybe been a bit too generous with second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances with a repeat offender to rethink their decisions. Survivor, the system isn't designed to make victims or perpetrators whole, but don't let that cause you to shrink back in silence. When you speak up, whether it's in court, at work, or in your personal life, you can think change your brain and shift the energy in the room. You remind others that survivors aren't silent, victims aren't invisible, and accountability still counts. Remember, the system may be broken, but truth takes root once you've spoken. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your voice matters. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Survivor! Are you tired of feeling exhausted, stressed, lonely, and stuck in narcissistic relationships, and you just want closure and healing? I spent years rationalizing toxic relationships and dysfunctional environments in the name of community, connection, and career. As a result, I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. One of the worst was an alleged murderer who discarded me after I caught him lying, stopped helping him for free, and held my boundaries. Even though I dodged a bullet, I felt depressed, ashamed, and I doubted myself. I want you to know that you don't have to suffer in silence, feel alone, or crazy anymore. Come and experience the power of creating your own closure without the permission or participation of the narcissist. I've been no contact for over 4 years now, and I've grown personally and professionally. I have more clarity, stronger boundaries. I'm building a life and business that I've always wanted and enjoying real relationships. I know you want to break patterns of getting into toxic relationships, even if you don't mean to. And it feels so good to disconnect from dysfunction, set and hold boundaries, provide closure for myself, and focus on self-care. And to empower my kids to do the same. Go to closurecoachingsession.com right now and get ready to heal after narcissistic abuse. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.